Yeah, what's good, Chaser? It's your boy 50, and I got my boy D Money with me. What's up, my brother?
What's going on, man? I appreciate you joining the show last week. So, I had to return the favor. You guys, the graphics on this thing, I see your little face right there here next to
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
subs. You already got it looking better than us. And we've been on for 5 years, and it didn't take you long to get better graphics than us. So I got to talk to Pete about that. But yeah, man, no, it's my pleasure and a lot going on, man. The phone's been buzzing today.
Oh man, that's what's up. And we got, you know what I'm saying? We got plenty of people in here. If you're on X, you know what to do. Retweet it, like. If you're on YouTube, LSS, like, share, subscribe. Got D Money in here. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, y'all like, share, and subscribe to Canes Insight and Group Chat Sports too. Yeah.
Oh,
Group
look at
Chat
you,
Sports.
man. You appreciate you. Yeah, we're trying to do some more college football stuff. I gotta hedge my bets in case the Canes, fall off again. So I gotta make sure we're covered.
Oh man.
So yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I mean, that one we're doing more just a daily it's really just a daily transaction show, kind of just covering what happens with all the teams. And it's interesting because you see all the teams are in the same situation. They're losing guys, they're getting guys. Obviously, we have Horton putting his name out there. I was on campus today recording an interview with Mark Fletcher for which is a show, not to do another plug, but I got a show called Storm Sessions, which is through the school where we do sit downs with the players. And I mean, Fletcher is like you couldn't ask for a better representative of the school. Anyways, so sat down with him. So I'm leaving the Hecht, and you got Horton and his family are there to meet on all this stuff. So they're still talking to us because they were there. And then you also had Eric Singleton and his family getting shown around by Coach Cooney. So it's like you got a guy enter in the portal talking to us. You got a guy that entered the portal for a team that beat us, talking to us. So it's like this is just a crazy era, man. It's hard to keep up with.
Yeah, it is. It's like I said, baby NFL. It's really free agency. It's really free agency. Well, I'm glad you joined us because I got a question that's like, you know what I'm saying, football question. And I wanted to know what player should have won the Heisman that didn't won the Heisman in years past, D-Money. And the Chasers, y'all can answer that too.
Whew, that's a good question. So, it's I thought Lamar Jackson should have won it twice. I'll say that one. Willis McGahee, probably the year Carson Palmer won. I thought he was the best player in the country of that particular year. I think the votes got split with him and Ken Dorsey. So that caused Carson Palmer to win it. Plus USC had just come back at that time. It's funny. This is so me and my wife have been together for 22 years. We started dating December 7th of 2002. So we were watching the Heisman, and she was telling me a story about when we first started dating. It was when that Heisman was going on, Willis and Carson Palmer and Dorsey. And I kind of got fired up when these guys lost, and she was looking at me like, man, he cares a little too much about this, it was kind of like a red flag for her about all this. Point being, for the last 22 years now, Kane is finally back in New York. 22 years, and we have not been good in that time span,
Wow.
22 years of being together. It seems like a long time to me. We haven't been good that whole period. So put in perspective, kind of like, man, that's been a long gap between the McGahee, Dorsey to Cam Ward of us not playing very good football. So that's got to change too. Anyways, not to get personal, but that was like a moment that made me feel like, oh, it's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah. And another thing, D-Money, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, can you tell them how we could get special players out the portal? You feel me? What can they do? What can the fans do?
Oh, look at you, man. You're like the plug. You're like John Stockton with the plugs right now. You're serving them up. But canesconnection.com/CIS. That's Miami's official NIL collective. Go there, sign up. Obviously, look, everybody's got hard-earned money, but if you're spending money on the Canes, the best place to spend that money is with Canes Connection, the collective, canesconnection.com/CIS. Use that link. You get access to a private Zoom I do where I basically just give you, I get it direct from the source. I mean, it's through the collective, so you guys can figure out that info is probably pretty direct. So canesconnection.com/CIS, sign up, whatever contribution level you can do. That's, again, everybody's got their hard-earned money. I'm not here to tell you people to spend money, but if you're spending it on the Canes, the best way to do it is to make sure, for example, Cam Ward, that was a lot of fun watching him this season. I know we all had a lot of good memories from that. Those of us who have kids, we probably got them more. I know this is certainly the case for me, and I know a lot of my friends and people I know, you get your kids more into it, or your nephews or whatever, because you have a player like that. So there's a big impact from that one player, and that one player would never have happened if we didn't have a strong collective, because we all know how this game is. So there's nothing more. If you're a Canes fan trying to spend money on the Canes, yeah, you can get a windbreaker or whatever, or a hat, but nothing's going to make more of a difference, or a jersey, whatever. But nothing's going to make more of a difference than canesconnection.com/CIS, the collective, and getting these players off and running. So you set me up on that one. You gave me the alley-oop, so I had to do that one.
Yeah. I had to, you know what I'm saying? But on the question, I got to answer it myself. I'm going to go, not a Cane player, but I'm going to say Larry Fitzgerald, 2003, man. Man had about, 1,600, almost 1,700 yards, 22 touchdowns. Now, I got to bring this up with Larry Fitzgerald. That last year, he got shut down by Untrail Rose, so I got to bring that up. You feel me? But yeah, Larry Fitzgerald that season was special to me, man. That was real special. He couldn't be guarded that year. And I was young, so it was so memorable.
You talk about Moss and Randy Moss, and obviously prayers out to Randy Moss and everything he's going through. But Fitzgerald, man, when you talk about contested catches and adjusting to the ball, he wouldn't go over the top of guys like Moss. But as far as like twisting and all the stuff he was doing, I mean, how many times that year? I know you brought it up, so I know you watched it close. How many times did he have diving catches where he lands on his back, just kind of like twisting and turning? Yeah. He was doing that every game. It was crazy, man.
It was crazy.
Talk about all-time NFL team. If I'm putting that together, I'm having Fitzgerald as one of my wide receivers, probably him and Jerry Rice, just because, there's no BS with him. You don't have to worry about him going over the middle or anything. He's going to do everything for you, and talent-wise, ridiculous.
Yeah, like when you say all-time NFL team, it's kind of crazy because when it comes to like, if we doing like college, only team I can see close to us, surprisingly, is Pittsburgh when you really think about it. Like all the great players that came from there, like Dan Marino, Reeves, Fitzgerald, McCoy,
Aaron Donald, and that was during their period where they weren't even good, and they were putting out those guys. When they had a good period too. Tony Dorsett, they had some guys there in that era too. So yeah, Pitt, Syracuse, another sneaky one where you look at Syracuse and they got a lot of Hall of Famers.
Right.
So yeah, that's a good one.
Ooh, wait, hold on, Syracuse that.
Yeah, here, let me pull it up right here. I'll give you the lowdown on Syracuse Hall of Famers. But right off the top, Jim Brown, probably the best football player of all time.
Right.
So they got the only teams with more Hall of Famers are Notre Dame, USC, Ohio State, and Michigan. But yeah, Jim Brown, Larry Zonka, John Mackey, they named the award after him. Art Monk, the receiver, Marvin Harrison, Floyd Little, Dwight Freeney, recently, they Donovan McNabb. So yeah, Syracuse is no joke with I mean, I hate to say it because they beat us this year, but they're a sneaky one too.
Yeah. All right, D Money. Moving right along. What Canes moment from the past that live rent-free in your head?
Obviously, the Fiesta Bowl. I mean, I was there, so that one's an obvious one. To me, honestly, like injuries really get to me. So like just like Greg Cooper when he got hurt in this bowl that we're playing now, I think the turf's better now than it was then. But like Cam Harris getting hurt recently. Got like obviously McGahee getting hurt. Like when these running backs get hurt and their career is going to be hurt by it, those kind of bother me more just because it's talking about people's lives and stuff. You know what I mean? These are guys you watched as high school. So more so than team injuries really get me because of, that it's impacting these guys' careers. So luckily people are rehabbing better than they used to. And we've been lucky this year for the most part. Hopefully this game is clean and no injuries.
Yeah, definitely. We need no injuries. Plus I need my boy Cam Ward to go out with a bang. It's been so fun watching him. Ups and downs, it didn't matter. It was fun. A moment that lived rent-free in my head, I gotta say is Sean Taylor. I just got to be honest. Sean Taylor against Florida State, the rain game. It made everybody damn near Canes fan. Like I was a Canes fan before then, but he just solidified it for me. You feel me? He just solidified it for me. So yeah, it definitely got to be Sean Taylor rain game. I still remember him doing this. I remember all that, man. It was a special time.
Yeah, he went to Gulliver, so I went to Belen, so that was our rival, and he was playing us, and he just jumped over my friend, like just straight up, hurdled him, and scored a touchdown. So I remember him in that game. I think he returned an interception about 105 yards in that same game. I mean, the comments, I'm sure someone in the comments knows, but I'm pretty sure he had the state touchdown record all the way until Derrick Henry broke it.
Right. He definitely did. Who was his quarterback? Buck
Ortega, yeah. And he actually ended up playing tight end in the NFL for a little bit. Ortega did. But I think he played for the Saints. But yeah, Taylor, he had that state touchdown record for, I mean, what was Derrick Henry? It was like 2010, I don't know, or whenever he came out.
Right.
That was the same time. So, I mean, it was a long time that record stood, and it took the best running back of this generation to break it. And that wasn't even on defense. That was just offense. I mean, it's crazy what that guy was doing.
Yeah, it is. He was just a different athlete. And I saw you bring up your high school. This ain't got nothing to do with the script or none of that. But how you feel about Bryce Fitzgerald going to Columbus?
Yeah, so that one hurt us because he was one of ours. He was a Belen guy for the first 2 years. He won a state title in basketball. It was a key guy on the basketball team. Then he flipped over. I mean, it made sense from they're a better program right now. So, I mean, I understood it from a athletic standpoint. Academic wise, obviously he could cut it at Belen because he was there already, but he probably had an easier time at Columbus. So he's like, all right, let me just take the academics down a little bit so I can focus on sports. He didn't fail out of Belen. He was keeping up in Belen from what I understand. He just said, I think he probably wanted the easier education so he could focus on scoring touchdowns. What do you think about Bryce Fitzgerald, man? I think the guy's probably the best athlete down here. It's just a matter of, how physical he can be.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the tackling film that I saw on the highlights, I'm like, he should have just left that off it. But man, like receiver, cornerback, I see it. I definitely see it. I could definitely see it like Chris Henderson type time, like with the speed, how he covers. It's just like, yeah, I see that. Because I remember when the Chris Henderson fiasco with Mike Rumph and all that, it was, bad time. But yeah, it's kind of funny. We got a chance to get our own Chris Henderson. I saw somebody on your site call him a Timu Deion Sanders. That was funny.
That was my guy, Coach Macho. So Coach Macho, who said that, he's the defensive coordinator for Western High School. So they played him. So he saw it. He wasn't just saying that. He was trying to scheme against them because in that particular game, and you see the highlights on Huddle. This was, I think, the semis. It was in the playoffs. It wasn't the finals. But Fitzgerald really played more offense in that game. And my guy Macho was saying that they were stuck in the mud on offense, meaning Columbus, and then they put Fitzgerald at wildcat, at running back, at receiver, and then he was starting to really cook. He just ran right by one of his corners, who's an FBS recruit, caught a touchdown there, and basically won the game for them on offense. So he played corner in that game too. I think he played more corner in the playoffs, and I think that from Miami's standpoint, they want to see how that looks because obviously they need corners, and he can do it athletically. It'll be a question of, like you said, he should have kept that tackle. He waited. It
didn't look good. It didn't look good. All right. Hey, all right. Another question. This probably gonna be like one of the. Nah, ain't gonna be the last question. But under or over 3 commits this week.
Yeah, I saw that one in the rundown. I've been thinking about it. I was thinking probably push because I think it'll be 3. Right, I think 3 by the end of the week. So I'm saying push. I'm saying 3. I'm just calling it right down the middle, 3. Right. We'll see. One thing about the portal, having kind of seen it from the inside a little bit, not all the way inside, but I've seen it, more from the inside than before. No one knows, man. Like the people involved don't know, because
Right.
you have kids that, like, recruiting, you still don't really know, but you know more because you're talking
Yeah.
about people you've been dealing with for 2, 3, 4 years.
Right.
So it's a little more like, all right, if something's going bad, you can kind of be like, I sense it's not going the right way. Or if it's good,
Right.
there's a trust factor. With this, like, it's speed dating. So you just met these people. You're like, I think it's going good. I think we got
Mhm.
progress, but you don't really know because the relationship is so new and things change at
Mhm.
like the drop of a hat. Obviously, there's a ton of money involved. There's agents involved.
Right.
You're talking about fast visits. So I think 3, but people don't really know. Like, that's the main thing I could say about this portal deal is, like, nobody actually knows.
Right. Right. And let me get this up here real quick. I got the file. Thanks for coming and subscribing. That boy said 50. You boiling the water for the hot dog? You talking about Emory Williams, man? That's like a little inside joke we got here.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've heard that one get dropped before.
yeah. Matter of fact, how do you feel about Emory Williams?
So, I mean, the guy's a great kid, first of all, and obviously a great competitor. You saw him with the broken arm.
Mm-hmm.
Big, big legs, big height. Like, he's a big kid.
Mm-hmm.
Accurate when he's standing still. Like, when he's solid, he's accurate. IQ great. On the practice field, he's been doing really, really good. And one thing I'll say about him is that people within the building, not just coaches, about like players, like
Mm-hmm.
big time players. I know Cam really likes him. Other players on the offense, like, and not just like, hey, he's a good guy. Like, hey, no, we don't need this guy's this guy can get it done. Like, this is the guy, and they'll be adamant about it. Now it's their teammates, so you take it for what it is. But it's more than just like supporting their boy. Like, these guys think he's good. Now, what I will say, my amateur opinion, is one thing that's different from the practice field to the football field is you can hit the quarterback. So,
Mm-hmm.
there's more of throwing it when it's not perfect, not just running for yards, but like kind of just adjusting your body a little bit, just being a little more fluid and athletic because the picture's moving. Like, there's, bodies in front of you. Like, you have to worry about actually getting hit. You can't just stand still knowing that you're never going to get hit. And then, so I think when that happens, the athletic ability becomes more of a concern for me. I know people compare him to Mendoza and say, Mendoza and him are the same. I
Yeah.
would say Mendoza, to me, I see a little more athletic, but
Me
we
too.
haven't seen Emory play, full games like that as much. So there's less of a sample size, but I would say that's a slight difference. Obviously, Cam, much more athletic. So that would be the one thing I'm worried about with Emory is I don't know if when they're tackling and they're hitting and it's real live quarterback and it's a different game plan than, FSU and Clemson where they were protecting him with the short passes. Like, when he's actually sitting there and he's got to make plays, is he going to be athletic enough? That's the question I have, and I don't know the answer, but that would be the concern I have.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you
Now,
think?
me, I think Luke Nickel gonna beat him out. That's just how I feel. I think Luke Nickel gonna beat him out. Luke Nickel, I saw. Gotta give on reference to your website. I was just browsing, reading. Somebody commented and said he looked like Sam Howell. I've been running with that comparison for a minute because when I look at him, I'm like, damn, he do look like baby Sam Howell out there. I'm looking at the arm, he a gainer, he could run, all that. But I see like a little more because he looked like he out here trying to truck people out there. So I'm looking at that. I'm like, man, he got the toughness. Like, he fits what the great college quarterbacks got with the arm talent, the way he built the ass on what that school called, Lee County, I believe.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, they're a
yeah,
good team too.
yeah. They're a good team, undefeated. You feel me? Put belt on. Like, people were talking about, like, oh, I don't know if he could do it. I guess they said something like he had like ankle injury or something. That's why it wasn't like how he was looking before. But I guess he fully healed now because he giving everybody that belt.
You saw
So
when he hit him with the Deion when he high stepped on that last touchdown. So
yeah.
he's got a. It's funny because, like, I always make the joke. I'm tired of, like, these. They say, like, these quarterbacks have swag. It's like the Tate Martell kind of thing. I'm not really into all that.
Right.
You know, like all these guys trying to be like TikTok people, but he's got swag without dressing like, just like a
Yeah.
country bumpkin, you don't see it.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
not on social media like that, but when
Nah.
he plays, he has it. And that, to me, I would rather have that, because he
Yeah.
like, like all the guys that are on the social media like that, that to
Mhm.
me is that's a little bit of too much for me. I don't care about that kind of swag. I like the Lamar Jackson swag where he'll just score a touchdown. He knows he's supposed to, or Jalen Hurts, and I'm not into
Yeah.
the showiness that very rarely to me pans out. Look at a lot of bust. It's those guys that, look at Johnny Manziel. I mean, he was a great college player, but he got
Mhm.
lost in the sauce. I think Nichols got the right combination of, he's confident, but he's not
Right.
stupid with it. He's not
Yeah.
trying to be put on a show for everybody.
Nah. He definitely not. And we got 274 people here on X and YouTube. If you're on X, you know what to do. Retweet and like. If you're on YouTube, like, share, subscribe. And hey, if you're on YouTube, y'all make sure y'all go over to Canes Insight, like, share, subscribe there. Group chat sports, like, share, subscribe there. Matter of fact, he got about 7 million posts on his message board. Go to Canes Insight. Y'all get on that. For real. D-Money in the building, man.
I mean, I'm telling you, man, you're John Stockton with these plugs. You're setting them up textbook.
Yeah.
But I love what you guys do. I'm always trying to push to do these kind of things because I love what you guys do. The energy you bring, like you said, the inside jokes. I'm on those spaces daily, not always with my main accounts. I'm usually with my burner, just because I'm not ready to talk. I'm like doing other stuff, so I got to make sure I don't get invited
Yeah.
in. So I'll pull up with the burner. Sometimes I'll pull up normal and jump in there. But you guys usually got it handled all day. So it'd be a fun off season. We still got a game here, but I'm just hoping we get enough done here, portal wise, that we can lie about it all off season. We got some optimism and juice.
Yeah. And with that said, hey, producer, let's get into a commercial break. What's good, Chasers? It's your boy 50. And at Category 6 Sports, we are proud to announce that we are partnered with MyBookie. Yeah, that's right. MyBookie has gave us the opportunity to give y'all a special offer, and they are matching up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip with this promo code CAT the number 6. Yeah, that's right. CAT the number 6. CAT 6. CAT 6. Remember that. Yeah, they matching anything. You put 500, they matching. You put 1,000, they matching. You put 1,200, they'll match 1,000, but that 200 is on its own. So yeah, y'all make sure y'all use that promo code that my bookie has gave us to give you. It's CAT 6. CAT the number 6. Y'all go get that. Yeah. Shout out to the folks at MyBookie for sponsoring this video. And the link is in the description, so y'all can click on that. Code CAT, the number 6. Y'all know what it is. And another thing, D-Money, when I be watching your shows, I be seeing you with the Croqueta County shirt. Well, what's the meaning of that?
Yeah, that's East Las Canadias. That's the number one Cuban restaurant in Miami. So those are my boys. They're sponsor of the show. I don't got the professional commercial like you guys, so I just kind of slipped them in. But yeah, that was nice. I like that. So no, they're awesome, man. If you're in Dayland Mall, that's a spot. East Las Canadias, best croquetas. That's like that's the Cuban spot. So that's where Cubans go. So you don't have to be Cuban to go, but it's the real deal there. So I recommend anybody listening that wants to try Cuban food or likes it, East Las Canadias. That's the real deal spot. That's not for the tourists. That's the real spot. So you check it out, and you guys you'll be in good shape out there. I promise you. 50. If you're in Dayton, where do you stay? Or are you south? Are you north? Where you at?
But no, I'm in the South. I'm in Georgia right now. I'm trying to get back home to Miami. But
okay. Yeah. So that's the South. I was talking about like Cutler Ridge, like I. Okay, you're north now.
Yeah,
so you're probably cold right now.
Yeah, I'm not even home. But since you had brought up the bowl game, what do you want to see in the bowl game, D-Money?
Well, first I see Marvelous Marv here asking about Guidry. I think there's gonna be defensive changes. I don't know that for sure, but that's my sense. Just knowing kind of how these things go. I don't think obviously they got to play the bowl, but I don't expect the defensive staff to stay the same. Just because, again, I'm not here to call for anybody to go, just because it's not really my role.
Right.
But I think just knowing how these things have gone in the past with Mario, and just things I know, that's what I would expect. Bowl, man, I'll be out there. I'll be out there with my family. Excited to see Cam. I heard, Restrepo probably not going to play, which is, that's unfortunate. Hopefully Cam stays with it.
Right.
But I want to see no injuries, and I want to see a win, man. And that's it. That's the name of the game.
Okay, Shaw, thanks for coming in, subscribing, my brother. Would y'all take a chance on Aaron Nolan? I don't like how that kid played us, man. I ain't gonna even lie to you, D-Man. I don't like how he played us. It was like we gave you the full court press, then you go to Ohio State, and then you commit. They ain't even off you like we did. Nah, I'm good on Shorty. How you feel?
Yeah, I'm not crazy about him. I mean, I never, he's not the biggest guy in the world, right? Mm-hmm. He's kind of skinny. He hadn't really done much at Ohio State. I think it was like fourth, fifth string. When I see all these guys, the thing that bothers me is I'm like, man, CJ Bailey is that age, right, of all these guys. Mm-hmm. And look what he did as a true freshman. I know the motion's ugly, whatever you want to say, but you want to talk about, to me, what you want from a, here standpoint, from a quarterback, to me, that is CJ Bailey, right? To me, at least, that's what I would say is how you draw it up. The guy's confidence can be, but he's here. He's steady. He steps up. They had a bunch of clutch moments this year. He brought him back against North Carolina. He would have brought him back against Georgia Tech, but then they drove and won it. But he had the game winner there, and he didn't play good that game. Nope. He runs better than I expected. There's a lot of people here who watch him in high school. I didn't see it. I saw him in high school. I didn't expect him to run like he does. Yeah. I know it's a tangent because the question was Aaron Nolan, but man, like I'm just thinking back to that class, and I'm like, we were chasing Nolan. But man, we had this guy right here who. Yeah. 50. Let me take you on a wormhole here. I know you got a lot of guys that are here, are local dudes. I know you're in Georgia, but people that are here watching high school and stuff. Right. Go back and look throughout the years. I'm previewing an article I'm writing once we get a little breathing room with this portal. But if you go back and look at quarterbacks that are over, let's say 6'2", from South Florida that signed with D1 schools, the ratio of those guys going pro is extremely high. Extremely, shockingly high. I'm talking about like Geno, Teddy Bridgewater, Lamar Jackson, Mike White, Brandon Doty, guys like that. And then now you have the next, you have a Michael Pratt, right? That's drafted by the Packers. There's not that many guys that are in Miami-Dade or Broward or Palm Beach that are over 6'2", that are quarterbacks that go D1. So it's a smaller list. Tyler Huntley's another one. I think he's 6'1.5". But those guys are rare. There's just not that many guys. But when they do come through, they tend to perform. And if you look at the last couple of years, you have Fernando Mendoza, who, whatever you want to think about him, the guy's going to make a ton of money in the portal. There's a lot of articles calling him, until Mateer jumped in, they called him the best prospect in the portal of the quarterbacks. Right. That's what he's valued as. And then CJ Bailey. So, but usually when someone has the requisite height and that, their arm's good enough that they at least go D1, they're, for whatever reason, they usually make it. That's what I'm starting to notice at the quarterback position. Again, if I'm crazy, tell me in the comments, let me know. But think back to guys who like just knowing the local scene. Think about how many guys had height that were D1 players that were quarterbacks down here that didn't make it. Yeah. They usually make it, and they don't always go to big schools. In fact, they rarely do. Jacoby Brissett's another one. Right. So go back to the memory and you say, like, they don't, like, how many of those guys that I listed met that criteria and didn't make it? It's not a big list, Even Stephen Morris was in the NFL for a little bit. He had some practice squad. I mean, Ja'Cory had a tough time, but a lot of that was around him, and it's not like the guy couldn't play. He threw a lot of touchdowns in the ACC. So that's a little rant, but what I'm saying is I hope in the future. And so I tend to do them. I know you had the nice agenda, and I'm hijacking.
Oh no, you're good. This is what we're here for.
But that's one thing I've kind of been noticing is, man, the next time there's a guy down here that's tall, productive, we got to really take a close look at this player and say, is there any reason why this guy shouldn't come into our program? Even if he's a second guy, right? Instead of having to chase all these other dudes, we can have one of these homegrown guys. Wouldn't be worried about it right now if we had CJ Bailey.
Now you're right. And shout out to Christianville for coming in, subscribing. He said we all wanted Bailey over Judd. Which you're right. We wanted Bailey over Judd, but we high key didn't even want Bailey. I'm just be honest. Like, a lot of people wasn't feeling Bailey. He made me a believer. I ain't gonna lie. Like, He looked like Vince Young at Georgia Tech. Then he played North Carolina, and that he basically won the game. Like, yeah, I know they scored a running touchdown, but the way he threw into double coverage on the dot, I was sold. I was sold. Cause I was like, you can work with that. You can damn sure work with that.
And that Georgia Tech game, I mean, I like him. Bet the 3 picks. It's like, what's his name? Like I heard Barkley say it. I heard other people say it about like, I don't want a guy that goes 0 for 8. I want a guy that goes 0 for 20, because they're still shooting after they miss. So to get 3 picks, and then the guy's out there still balling and still playing, and he looked exactly how he did before the picks. That's, I think, something, especially in Miami where it's a lot of pressure. Cam Ward's like that for sure.
Right.
That's something that we need because you can't, like, TVD, when he threw some picks, you could see it on his face that it was different. Body language is different. Can't have that in Miami.
No, you can't. Like with Cam Ward, that's why I was like a breath of fresh air with Cam Ward, because he threw a pick, you couldn't tell. He threw a touchdown, he was like the same guy. Like, he really was like calm. Like, I saw what Marshawn said, like, dude was cool and collected even when it was down. Like, he didn't give it down. He just drove down. But with that being said, we got 411 people here on X and YouTube. You know what to do on X. Retweet and like. And if you're on YouTube, LSS, like, share, subscribe.
I'm going to retweet it right now from my account. Sorry I didn't do it earlier. I was just getting situated here. Let me get that.
Yeah. You see my boy D Money doing it. Matter of fact, y'all make sure y'all like, share, subscribe to Canes Insight, Group Chat Sports, and get over to his website, Canes Insight. It got about 7 million posts. It's great content. Hey, shout out that boy Cribby over there too. He like,
yes, my guy.
He like y'all like here, like y'all like Shaq and Kobe when it comes to recruit news and practice news, all that. You feel me? So yeah.
I mean, I see you guys out of practice too. I mean, Jay, I was telling you when you were on my show, I think that Jay, I see him. I don't know what job he does, man, because the guy's always in his work clothes. But every practice I see him, he's there before me. So he's he's working 2 jobs, man, because he's got that. He's on the practice scene every single day and ready to rock. So shout out to Jay, man. Love Jay. He's definitely out there. He knows what's going on. There's no doubt about that.
Oh yeah, that's my boy there. And another thing, D Money, because I don't think they really hearing you right now. How can they help us land top portal commits? How can they help us?
Only one way, man. CanesConnection.com/CIS. I'll drop the link in the chat right now. So connect here, but yeah, that's really the only way you can actually affect the product on the field is to support CanesConnection.com. That's the official NIL collective. That money goes to the players. Putting the link in right now. I mean, it's no see. You guys know what it is. I mean, I don't have to tell you how this process works. I mean, we can recruit, we can do everything else, but if we're not paying, it's all it doesn't matter. So, appreciate that shout out 50, because that's the team. That's how we all can kind of come together and do our thing. Again, everybody's got hard-earned money, but if you're spending it on Canes, spend it there. As a bonus to that, when you use that /CIS, you get access to a private chat that I do, every 2 weeks or so about recruiting, about portals, saying stuff I can't really say on stuff like this, just because, it's free. So people jump in. I don't do it on my show because people can jump in and screenshot it, but we do it privately. And that's the direct info. I mean, it's the collective. So again, you guys can figure out where this info is coming from, and we give it to you on recruiting portal, everything we can do basically in that private setting. That's what we do on CanesConnection.com/CIS.
Yeah. And another thing, since I got you here, you know what I'm saying, I feel like you're aficionado to this stuff. Is my boy Malachi Tony better than Diabell?
Listen, so I did the interview with Fletcher today, and I asked him about Tony, and because I was like, man, like he was saying, like people expected him to be running around, but the guy was out there passing. I mean, I was at that game, and he was not running at all. I mean, he may scramble around to throw occasionally, but he was playing very much. I'm not saying he was playing as good as Cam Ward, but in terms of the way he played, like the style of play, he was much more like Cam Ward than he was like, I don't know, name the guy like Lamar Jackson or whatever it is. He was he was a passing quarterback in that game. And I don't know how. I mean, look, I like Diabell. I think Diabell's good. But he's more prototypical. But you can't pass any better than Tony did in that. I mean, I think he missed his, like, he was 15 for 15, I want to say, at one point.
You're right.
And like, not just completed, but like completed with ball placement. Like, he could not have put it better to where the guy can catch it and run. So he can play, man. And just that's the kind of attitude you want from a player. Just be a winner, a football player. This is what we got to do, and they do it.
I'm talking about he was throwing it on the money. Like, every time I look, like, you remember the game before the state game, he out here doing the Jordan shrug. Like, it was just getting too easy for him. So I'm looking at the kid and I'm just like, damn, like, he's really good at quarterback. Like, it wasn't like, even though I remember Restrepo played quarterback, safety, all that in high school, and he was pretty good, but not like this.
Not passing. He was he did what he had to do, like football player. Let me get the job done. Tony was like, I mean, he was unstoppable. I mean, he was going up and down. It was like, I didn't see the punter until, the fourth quarter. And that was because, they were scoring points, throwing the ball, man. It was crazy. That defense is good. That Jones defense, they were big dudes. It was not like he was out there against, 1A. So he looked real good.
Yeah. And Coleman, it was crazy because he was running that game. He was looking good too, but he was like he looked like how Malachi you would think would look. You feel me? So that was just kind of funny to see. But with Malachi Tony, like, and another thing that showed me about him playing quarterback is, like, I'm not gonna lie. Hey, he can come in and take snaps like right away, because that means he can learn the playbook real fast. You feel me? And that's gonna be valuable, definitely, with a coach like Kevin Beard. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm with you. I mean, 50, you've seen enough to know this. It took me a while to figure it out. It's like, you always see the highlights. You're like, all right, this guy will play because I like the highlights or whatever.
Right.
The guys that play early are the smart ones.
Right.
That's just what it is. If you're a smart player, you're going to play early. That's across the board. I think I always go on the rants. You've heard me do it. Is IQ. People just don't pay enough attention to it. Like, yes, Cam Ward is a better athlete than TVD, but the biggest difference between Cam Ward and TVD is between the ears, in my opinion.
Right.
So, guys, when you want to see who's going to play early, you got to find the smart players. And to me, Tony, right off the top. Amari Wallace has the injury. He would have been on that list right off the top.
Yes.
I think Pringle is a running back. Those guys a little different. They can play earlier, but he will play early, I think. Samson, or sorry, not Samson. SJ. Sorry, Susu.
Right.
The Samoan from Nevada. I think he'll play early. Upshaw, man. I heard he looks pretty good, and I heard he's on point too.
Right.
A lot of good things I hear about Josh Moore, as far as his work ethic and the things he does off the field. Obviously, the physical is there. So those are the guys I would look to, is guys that can play multiple spots on the dime. I know Upshaw and Moore also played safety when the team needed, which, by the way, Malley did too. Yeah. If you watch the St. Thomas game, he ended the game, I want to say, on a pick. As a safety.
Yeah.
So that, to me, 100%. I think, like, just exactly what you said, because he has that IQ, that will allow him to play early more so than any, physical attribute.
Right. And it was just crazy. Like you said, smart players play. And, like, I think you said Brock Scott, right? You named him, right?
Which one?
Brock Scott.
Oh, yeah. Him too. Because, again, you watch him, he's doing everything, right? He's not just out there being an athlete. He's playing DN.
You're right.
And we'll see. I mean, I don't know how smart he is. I know he's crazy. He's out there running around like a maniac. So he'll at least be special teams. But you would assume he is, because he's doing multiple things. And usually the guys that do multiple things are the ones that can handle, more stuff. So that, and then, Fitzgerald, man, it's just like, if he wants to play on defense, it's going to be the tackling, because I think athletically he could do it. And he's smart football wise. I mean, the guy's out there, you could tell he knows his way around. It's just going to be about the physical aspect with him.
Right. Right. And when I see what I think with Fitzgerald, if they can find a way, like, because I feel he's a cornerback. If he got the toughness, we won. Because that is a first rounder. I'm sorry. That
Yep.
athleticism, that speed, all that, that's first round. That's first
CJ
round.
Henderson, you said it. I mean, that's if it's interesting if you put them together because Henderson was a running back in high school. When I first saw him, I saw him at Traz. I forgot the game. He was playing running back, and then he became more of a corner. If you compare him to me and Fitzgerald, I would say Henderson's a little faster. They're both fast, but Henderson I'd say is a little faster. I'd say Fitzgerald's a little more smooth, a little more coordinated. CJ was straight line. Fitzgerald's kind of weaving in and out, making it look easy, just real coordinated. So I think athletically very similar. I think it's a great comp, and that's what you want, right? First round corner. Whatever happened to the pros, whatever. But he was a first round corner for a reason. So we could take that all day. Coach Carter's asking how I feel about his boy 17. I see he's got the 17 in the Abbey. I'm cheering for him just like you, man. I know that there's a lot of fans in the building with Emory. What I want to see is the athletic ability. And sometimes he loses weight, he gets more comfortable. You can see him kind of getting more fluid too. So that's what I'm curious to see is how he looks. Not running, he doesn't have to run for 50 yards. It's more just kind of like getting a little off and then still being able to deliver the ball when it's not just perfect, like he's practicing on grass, like when it's a little bit more improvisational, even within the pocket. That's what I want to see with him.
And I'm going to tell you something about my boy, Coach Carter. He called him Emory the Panhandle Pistol. I just wanted to he called him the Panhandle Pistol. Mar, thanks for coming in and subscribing. He said, hey, yo, D, when the revenue sharing kicks in, how will that change with the nil?
More money. So it's bigger numbers. So it's great for the players because the dollars that they were paying before have now escalated because now it's a different stream. Because revenue is, that's money that's going to the school. The collective is money is coming from the fans. So like revenue to the school, you're talking about, TV deals, tickets, all that kind of stuff. So that's now going to the players, not all of it, but a part of it is. And then you still have the collective part, which was what was there before. So the numbers have just gone up. So you're going to probably hear higher numbers because of that, because it's just multiple streams on top of each other. But I think Miami's still going to be in the mix. The money, you have to be smart with money because it's not infinite. So that doesn't change.
Right.
But Miami will be in the ball game with all these other schools in terms of, competing.
Right. And I got some more questions for you, but let's get into another commercial break, producer. Let's get into another commercial break. What's good, Chase? It's your boy 50 at Category 6 Sports. And you know what I'm here to tell you about? Our very own Henry Lee Southern Barbecue over in Dade City, the best in the nation. You know what I'm saying? Go get you a pork chop basket, some gator nuggets, all that. We ate plenty of gator nuggets on the 31st. Let's continue to eat those. And the number is 352-410-0754. 352-410-0754. Go get you some Henry Lee Southern Barbecue for real. Yes.
What's going on, guys? It's Xavier Restrepo here, receiver at the U. Just a special shout out to the guys at Category 6 Sports. Make sure y'all go tap in. Go Canes. What's going on?
And shout out Restrepo too. Shout out Henry Lee and Restrepo. Matter of fact, we got 914 people on X and YouTube. If you're on X, you know what to do. Retweet and like. If you're on YouTube, LSS, like, share, subscribe. And make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to Canes Insight, Group Chat Sports. Go over to Canes Insight, the message board. Hey, gotta holler at my boy D Money, man, because he definitely be one of the hardest working in the building, man. So I'm glad he here with us.
Yeah, it's not work, man. This is easy. This is easy money, man. It's just fun to do. I can do. We do this anyways, So they're just putting the camera on it.
Right. So I want to ask you this: how you feel about the Northwestern Bull? 71st. Them boys winning the state.
I mean, it's good to see. I mean, it's weird seeing Northwestern not where they're supposed to be.
Right.
My high school, Belen beat Northwestern at one point on some crazy field goal rule. I think that's why Stephen Field is working for Miami and not for Northwestern. But
Yeah,
I think it was that game actually. I mean, for real.
yeah,
But yeah, so it's great. I mean, obviously Calvin Russell, a phenomenal talent. Flowers, both those guys to me are top 50 type
mhm,
players nationally, size, speed, and then obviously they're winners. They won this one. So
right,
so yeah, man, it's good to see. It doesn't feel right if they're not part of it. Central was, I mean, so dominant
yeah,
for so long. And it wasn't always, as you know, it wasn't always like that. So it was kind of unusual to see it be so one-sided for
right.
Central for so long. So a little balance, I think, is great.
Yeah, like my boy Coach J would say, they ain't start winning them titles till they got Northwestern alumni. That's when they start winning them. You feel me? So yeah,
Where did you
it's
go,
like
by
one
the
of those.
way?
And another thing I want to ask you, how you feel about that? The Nick kid, number 2, I believe. Yeah, Lanier, I believe his name is.
Oh yeah, Coach Duaso, my boy Duaso, he runs the Raw 7-on-7 Miami, which has a bunch of these guys. Calvin Russell was there.
Mm-hmm.
Malley Tony was there. They had Dallas Wilson, Bryce Fitzgerald. So a lot of these guys, Mari Wallace. But he was saying that he was telling about this kid for a while, saying he's the guy. So yeah, that's another interesting name to keep an eye on. But yeah, Duaso, he sees all these guys, and so he's comparing apples to apples, and he says this is at that age that he's as good as he's seen. Although now I've seen this little Rod guy, so I'm now all bets are
Yeah,
off young players. I never seen anything like that.
man, it was crazy when I saw that too. I'm like, he was scoring everywhere. Shout out my boy Coach Carter with the gifted one category 6 sports membership. I think he did it again too. Yep, he did it again. So yeah, shout out my boy Coach Carter, man. But yeah, like the West being dominant, I'm glad they sent that Duval shit home. So the them boys were feeling themselves. Ronald Luck, thanks for coming and subscribing. What the hell happened with Horton?
So that's still ongoing. That's college football, 2024, like you said, baby NFL.
Right.
I think that's all it is. I mean, he's there visiting, talking to them right now. I know
Mhm.
Alabama's trying to get there. Every receiver wants the ball more, so
Right.
that's not unusual. I think every receiver in that room doesn't think they got enough targets. Restrepo probably didn't think he got enough targets, and he's first team AP All-America.
Yeah.
So, that's just kind of the nature of the beast on that part. But I don't think that's, it's more, this is the business of college football. You saw Kobe Young last year in that scenario, and then Horton kind of replaced him.
Yeah.
In a similar thing. I think Horton is better than Young, and we
Yeah.
want to keep Horton. It's not like we're like, hey, Horton, bounce.
Yeah.
We'll use the money somewhere else. They want to keep Horton. It's just you got a big team.
Right.
You got Eric Singleton visiting, who is potentially the best receiver in the ACC.
Yes.
When he signs,
Right.
if he stays in the ACC, it's about 300 meters, and a big kid, not huge, but 190 plus for that speed. So we'll see, man. They want to keep Horton. They're not trying to push him out. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I would want to keep Horton too. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? This was like really his first year start. So I couldn't really be too hard on him. Like, yeah, I expected a little bit more, but this is his first year starting. And I like from somewhere, I like what I've been seeing. I like the way he route runs and stuff. Like, I was kind of disappointed with some of his separation. I thought he'll be able to do that a little bit better. And then I was kind of disappointed with the drop at Syracuse. That kind of, it pissed me off. But other than that, it was just like, I actually like the kid Horton because I actually felt like he should have got more playing time when he went bones over Baghdad at Texas A&M. So, yeah, I'm not against Horton coming back at the right price. I don't want to overspend, but to keep it real with you, I don't care if they do overspend. You feel me? If that's what you feel you need to win, do what you got to do. But go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go and finish.
No, because I said that's what you need to do because I feel like these other teams ain't playing. The other teams, they throwing it around. I'm looking at LSU. I'm seeing, Ole Miss gonna do their thing in the portal. So you gotta come with it. We can't be penny pitching. You gotta pay. And it's the portal now. You feel me? I feel like the way we recruited was setting up to this portal.
100%. I would say I wouldn't think of it like, penny pinching. It's more of you take from this box or this bucket for this bucket, right? So if you go too hard on one player, you still got to fix a lot of other things as well. So you don't want to. So it's not so much, hey, how can we save money and keep it in our pockets?
Right.
It's more of we got to put the whole team together, right? And we got to keep the guys we want to keep, and then we got to add other guys. Plus, there's recruits. So that's what I think. That's what's happening is the balance of it's not like, hey, you don't deserve it or what, or we want to be cheap. It's more we got to be smart about the whole team. But with that said, they're trying to keep Horton. Don't take this as me trying to say like, you know, he priced himself out or something. Like they want to keep Horton. That's still going on as far as I understand. So I hope it works out because Horton, hard worker, just like we were talking about, you know, disciplined, fixed his body, came into spring looking like a whole new player. Of course, the results followed. And, you know, but me personally, so you had Jacoby, Sam Brown, Horton, Elijah Arroyo, and Restrepo, right? Those are the guys that were the top 5 pass catchers.
Right.
When you watch the practice in spring, and I was sitting right next to Coach Jay, if you look at Restrepo, Horton, Arroyo, the way they took care of their bodies and the way they played every single snap of practice, you're like, okay, it looks different. Now, some other players, you don't know what you're going to get necessarily. You know, they're not as physically developed. I don't know if they're working as hard in the weight room or whatever it is. Maybe they are, and I'm just assuming. But just it doesn't look the same in practice. Maybe it's not work ethic. I don't want to like speak out of pocket on stuff I don't know about. But just when I look at practice, I'm saying who looks ready to rock and roll and is doing it every single snap. It's Restrepo, Horton, Arroyo. And then if you watch the season, when stuff really got tight, and Cam, like this Virginia Tech or whatever, and Cam really needed, or Cal, and Cam really needed to go to somebody. To me, those were the first 3 options in the real tight moments. So I think that practice stuff kind of all that offseason stuff, it carries over, particularly a receiver. It's like that's a real work ethic kind of spot for me. Yeah. So Horton's got that. He's going to keep getting better, I think. To your point. Because you're right. I mean, I thought he would be a little more downfield this season. I know in practice he was killing it on those posts. He beat Daryl Porter every single practice on that post. Yeah, it didn't hit in the game, but he can do it. And I hope we keep him.
Yeah, because we need that veteran leadership. And you know what, D-Money? How do we keep players like Isaiah Horton and even get basically embarrassment of riches in that portal? How can their fans do that?
Only one way, man. That's www.canesconnection.com/CIS. Hit that link, and then, you know, be part of this collective, whatever level you can. It's the only way you can impact what we're seeing on the field. You know, I do private lives for people who use that link to just talk about, you know, whatever questions people have, give the information straight from the sources on recruiting, on portal stuff. I can't say on a public YouTube like mine or like this one, just because I don't want people to get reporting it. But you know, straight from the source as an added bonus for those who are contributing to Canes Connection and you know what we're trying to do on the field. So that's the only way we can do anything. Otherwise, we're just talking, which is what we do anyways. But at least that way we can kind of push it along a little bit. Right.
And Susie Pink, I'm glad you're back. I've been looking for you. Thanks for coming in and subscribing. She said, "Thank you, Coach Carter, with the U's." Yeah. I hope you got that membership. Yeah, I hope you got it. Yeah. Oh, you became a YouTube member? Okay, that's what I'm talking about, Susie Pink. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, my boy D Money.
I just discovered the private chat. I didn't even notice it was going on. I see Gmo's out there working, man. He's like he's the producer out there, man.
Yeah.
I was gonna compare him to producers, man, but all the famous producers are like, you don't want to talk about him right now. I don't want to call him Diddy. I don't want to call him Kanye. You know, I know what producers aren't canceled. I can't call him, you know, who behind the boards, you know, I can't call him R. Kelly. I mean, who's a producer?
Timberland, I guess. Dr. Dre.
Yeah. Dr. Dre's still you can still call him. Yeah, he's still around. DJ Premier, I guess. There's some producers that have been canceled.
RZA in his prime.
Yeah, his prime. He's been weak lately, man. You know, I don't know what happened. He went to Hollywood, man. He lost his touch.
Once he had what you guys said, once he saw him carry that guitar, he knew it was over. Deion Coleman. Thanks for coming and subscribing. That boy said, D, we contact Arizona. I hope not.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know that for a fact as we sit here today because he just entered. I was recording my show and I just went straight to this one. So I don't know if we have or not because I haven't talked to anybody. You know, you've been seeing me the whole time. So I don't know. But based on what I know before, I don't think so. I'll find out though.
Right. Well, hold on. Oh, okay. I'll make it sure. What my boy say? Christopher, thanks for coming. He said we call the producer a bozo around here for his Restrepo taste. Oh yeah, we definitely do that. He is a bozo because he was hating on Restrepo, and I'm kind of glad you said that because D-Money, that's what I wanted to know. Because I feel like whatever team get Restrepo is getting a steal. Do you feel the same?
You know, college and pro is different. I'll tell you a stat that I find to be interesting. Because Restrepo is a little different than like some of these others, like slot receivers. You can compare it to every basically white slot receiver, right?
Right.
He doesn't return punts, so that's a difference between him and some other guys. And he's not as quick. He's kind of like a running back, really. When you look at his body, he was like 200 plus last year. I don't know what he is this year, but so he's a little different than those guys. So it's hard to just say he's going to do whatever name the guy did before. One thing that I thought was interesting was I looked at yards per catch of some of these slot receivers, like, you know, Welker, Edelman, whatever. Those guys are like Barrios. Those guys are like low yards per catch because they're getting a lot of short passes and stuff. Restrepo's yards per catch this year, and he had about 1,100 yards. He has over 16 yards per catch. So when you talk about over 1,100 yards, over 16 yards per catch, that combination, go and look at the stats over the years. That's going to be guys that are like the first, you know, top 10 picks, like your, you know, Malik Neighbors kind of guys, right? The guys that are getting that amount of yards and at that level per catch. It's really those kind of guys more so than like your Wes Welkers or whatever. So he's making a lot of big plays. Now, of course, Cam has a lot to do with it, but he's doing it also. So he's going to be interesting one to watch. I was talking to a scout who compared him to I want to make sure I get the name right. Khalil Shakir, the guy from the Bills. I think he got hurt the other day.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
He compared Restrepo. There's a scout right now in the NFL. Compared Restrepo to that guy. And he said about probably, you know, fourth round maybe for Restrepo, something like that. So, you know, if he could return punts, it'd be easier because then he'd have, you know, another job to do that he could take a spot for. But yeah, that was the comp that someone gave to him that made some sense to me is Shakir from, I don't know if he went to Boise. I forgot where he went in college, but he's at Buffalo now.
Yeah. And another thing with Restrepo, it's just like everybody knew we were going to him, and he still get the third down. It was just crazy to see. It's like everybody know Jordan gonna get the last shot, but he's still gonna get it off. You feel me? So that's how Restrepo was. It's like he's still gonna get it. He was like the go-to guy. It's like it was basically like a basketball player with ISO. It's like we know he gonna win his matchup. We know Restrepo gonna win his. So yeah, that's why I'm like somebody gonna get the steal because I feel like he can still do that in the league. It probably won't be as dynamic as it was in college, but I feel like it's gonna be. I feel like he's gonna have a way better NFL career than Braxton Berrios.
Oh yeah, I mean, Braxton has the punt return that's keeping him in the league, so that's a difference between them. But receiving wise, he's a way better receiver. You know what I want to see with him? I mean, I hope he lands to like a Mahomes and Josh Allen. Obviously, they're the best quarterbacks, so that makes it easier. But also the fact that they make a lot of plays outside the script because you've seen it with Cam. He's real good at like when it breaks off, scramble drill, whatever. He's just he's got a natural kind of feel for where to go, and he makes a lot of big plays that way. So I think with a guy like a Mahomes or like a Josh Allen, when they break it off, he's someone that's going to have that kind of connection with them to know where to go downfield and find space and find the right angle to get open. So I hope he lands somewhere with that kind of QB.
Yeah, I like that. And transitioning back to the portal, how you feel about that safety from Jacksonville State? I think his name Zachariah Poyser or something like that. Because when I was looking at him, he was like a tackling. Like I don't think he missed a tackle. I was looking at. I was like, oh my, you feel me? So I'm looking at that. I'm like, get 7 off the field, get him in there right now. Like, and he's pretty young too.
Redshirt freshman, yeah. I posted a highlight on the website. That might be what you're talking about. If not, check it out for sure. But he was. I watched his high school stuff because I always like to see like how these guys kind of looked. Obviously, you know, he went to Jacksonville State, so they didn't know about him. He was mostly receiver So a lot of these guys that you see blow up, it's because they're receivers in high school or they're basketball players in high school, and then they transition to DB. And he was a receiver. So then he had the athletic ability, he had the ball skills, and then you put him on defense, and it turns out he can hit and all that kind of stuff. So I saw on 247, they interviewed some, there's an anonymous personnel director, like one of these guys, like basically like the Dennis Smith or whatever of one of these SEC schools. And he said that he thought that this guy was an All-America at the, P4, like when he moves up, that he's gonna be an All-America type. This is an SEC personnel dude. So he's got a lot of fans as far as the college world.
Yeah. Nah, but I ain't see that on your website, but I'm definitely gonna check it out. I was just like looking at it on my own, like on some. I seen some on, on Twitter or X, whatever, and YouTube, looking at some things, and I was just looking at it, and I'm just like, man, this man really not like mixing tackles, and I saw some other player on his team that actually looked good too. Some dude named Fred Perry, but that's a whole nother story. But the Poison kid, I was just looking at him. He was like just tackling, like I just see it, like, and he could play the nickel too. So it was just like one of those. I know we needed that. Like if we was able to get my boy that went to Indiana from JMU, I'm forgetting his name.
Yeah, D'Angelo Pons.
Yeah, from Chaminade. Yes, him. We was able to get him. Man, I'm not gonna lie. We might be undefeated. I'm not gonna lie.
That one, I gotta, I don't talk about all the guys that I thought were gonna be good that were terrible, but that's one guy I gotta say. I made a post about him on Canes Insight before his senior year, Pons, because when you looked at him in high school, and again, look, I'm skipping all the guys that I was wrong about, so don't take it as the wrong way. But with him, it's like he had the height. He wasn't, he wasn't big, but he was 5'10", 5'11". He was adequate. He was at the level, at the bar. And then he was super skinny. That was the negative. But he was fluid. He was smart. He knew how to play corner. He could sniff stuff out. He could see things. And then on top of that, he was like, I think a 10.6 or something in high school. So all he really needed was the weight. And then you're talking about exactly what you want at corner. So I think, we didn't do a good enough job of getting guys with speed that you knew they were fast in high school to us. And then we complain that we're not fast enough. We got to get guys that are fast in high school. Because, they're telling you, like Xavier Lucas, who went to Wisconsin, he was running 10.7 or something like that. And he was like 200 pounds almost. So, I mean, like, they are fast. Like, they're showing you they're fast. Like, you just got to take them and then teach them the rest, as long as they have the basic instincts and fluidity that you need.
Yeah, and they kind of did that with OJ, but they should have took Lucas too. So yeah, they did their thing. But with that being said, we got 1,267 people in here on X and YouTube. If you're on X, you know what to do. Retweet and like. If you're on YouTube, like, share, subscribe. Matter of fact, I'm going to send it over to D-Money. Where can they find you at, my boy?
Canes Insight on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Pod, all the same stuff that you see right here next to my man 50's head on this graphic. We got that too. So find Canes Insight, Canes, INSIGHT, and then the website, which is like a forum. It's like a message board, so old school, just talk and argue all day. Ton of people. It's free, so people are on there all day. 7 million posts. That's canesinsight.com, and then you can navigate to the forums from there. So. Yeah, man, we're working. I got that doing Group Chat Sports, which is a new endeavor, which is picking up big, man, just because there's fiends all over the place. And that's more of a transaction hub where every day me and Peter, my co-host, we just go through all the transactions across the country as far as like who's jumping in the portal, who's committing to schools, which coaches are moving around, recruiting, who's committing to where, just to kind of keep track of all the movement, because there's so much movement that like every day you got to kind of say, all right, he's going here, right? And it's a lot of fun. We break it up into smaller videos too, so if you just are interested in a particular topic, there's like a 5-minute video of all that. So we're doing that every day, man. So it's a fun time, man. College football, you got people doing like what you guys are doing, just bring a whole different style to it. Again, love everything you guys are doing. Just keep it reminds me of old school radio. Like back when people used to listen to the radio. That's what you guys remind me of doing with this show with Category 6, with the spaces. That's the vibe I get, just kind of the old school radio vibe.
Man, I appreciate that, man. And I'm glad you came and spent your time with us. But to the chasers of y'all, I'm glad y'all here too. But hey, it was fun, but we got to go. Peace.
What was it like